I will call the City of Allegan City Council meeting for Monday, July 27th, 2026 to order. Could I please have roll call?
Yes. Councilmember Clark.
Present.
Councilmember Westover.
Present.
Councilmember Walker.
Here.
Councilmember Canales.
Here.
Councilmember Hooker.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Hands.
Present.
Mayor Perigo.
I am here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. If you are able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, agenda item number 4A is approval of the regular council meeting agenda for July 27th, 2026, and it is an amended agenda. Could I please have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the amended agenda. Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Moving down to agenda item 5A is the approval of the regular council meeting minutes from July 13th, 2026. I am not aware of any corrections. Could I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Moving down to agenda 7A is acceptance of gifts received by the City of Allegan.
Thank you, Mayor. This past Friday, Lauren Granger donated $20 for community events. This was received on Friday evening, and we felt the need to amend the agenda to include this action item. As with all gifts, we request that the city accept the gift and direct the city manager and/or city clerk to send a thank you card if we have their address. Since these are donated online, sometimes we don't have anything, so.
All right, so you're asking for a motion for council to
Yep.
accept this
Okay.
gift? All right.
Correct.
Can I get a motion, please, to accept this gift?
I'll make a motion to accept the gift from Lauren Granger.
Support.
All right, is there any comments from council before we vote? Nope. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Moving down to agenda 9A is public hearing and approval of the sale of city-owned parcel 51-240-058-00, known as 104 Ida Street, to Dan and Erin Dewey.
Thank you, Mayor. I am going to kick off the report, give a brief history of how we got here, and then you can open the floor to receive public comment on the sale. I would recommend that the public comment just come from people who want to talk about the sale, and then after the public hearing is closed, you can invite the Deweys and/or our Realtor, Ben Otis, who's in the audience this evening. He represents the city, to ask them any questions you see fit, but we really shouldn't have dialogue or negotiations during a public hearing. So with that, the city contracted with Frykart Realtors to sell several city-owned lots. This is one of the properties the city owns that we've asked them to market. Our Realtor listed this property 348 days ago at a listing price of $25,000. As shared with you at a previous meeting, our city assessor has the true current cash value of the land at $6,484. Just for clarification, when we do true cash values to our assessing, we do not go with highest and best use. We don't go with what the market would demand. We go with what the land is valued at. And through our assessing system, different neighborhoods, land is valued differently, and you just take the per square footage, times that by what that value is, and that's how you get that number of $6,484. The city currently spends $990.72 per year to maintain this property. Recently, we received a letter of intent from Dan and Erin Dewey to own the adjacent property, to purchase this property from the city for $1. That was shared to city council. You directed staff to begin the process to schedule a public hearing pursuant to section 13.9 of our city charter, and that's where we are this evening. After the public hearing, you really have three options. One is to accept the offer and direct the city manager and city attorney to develop a quit claim deed transferring the city's ownership to Dan and Erin Dewey. This has been done several times in the city's history when selling property. You can negotiate a sales price with with the Deweys, and direct the city manager and city attorney to develop a quit claim deed transferring the city's ownership to Dan and Erin Dewey. This, again, has been done several times in the city's history when selling property. Or you can reject the offer and direct the city's realtor to continue to market the property at the same or a different sales price. That is all I have for my report for council this evening. This does require a public hearing.
All right, thank you. With that, I will open up the floor for our public hearing, and we'll take comments in regards to the sale of 104 Ida Street. If you have a comment on this agenda item, please approach the podium and state your name and address. All right, I am not seeing any public to comment on this, so I'm going to go ahead and close. All right, I don't know if the Deweys would like to come up, or if you have anything more you would want to.
Yeah, I guess I just, we didn't have a real intent with the property. We just know it was on the city's books. And obviously, like Joel had stated, it's been on the for sale list for a number of days. So we kind of stepped forward. We mowed the property next to it. We just, made an offer so that, the city could take that off their books and it wouldn't be an expense to the city at that point. That's kind of where we are, and it's, that's our intent to kind of open up the negotiation from there if it's needed, but that was kind of what our intent was, is to take it off the city's expense list. And thank you.
Does anybody have any questions?
Who would have put the dollar amount out there, the $1 amount for that purchase?
That was offered by the Deweys in the letter of intent that they
Okay.
submitted to us and we shared with council
Okay.
about a month ago.
Thanks.
So right now, you don't use the property for anything, I think, besides like storage, maybe? Because there
Currently,
are
yeah.
some
That's
buildings on
with,
there.
the adjacent property, yep.
Okay,
We've owned it since about 2009, I think.
okay.
Just maintained it, use it for, we have a place on the lake, and of course, any small place on the lake, you need space for things, so that's pretty much what happens there, is we store our boats and such in that property then.
Is there any thought of combining the two properties if you were to buy this parcel?
I mean, it really hasn't been thought about much.
Okay.
It would depend if somebody would be interested in maybe using the property in the future, I'm not sure. Our intent is just to, mow it and maintain it, and, obviously just remove it from the city's expense list.
Okay. Anyone else have anything for? No? All right, I'll let you sit down. We won't keep you on the hot seat.
Thank you.
All right, council. Thoughts? We have to go forward one way or another.
Yep, and I think that with our history of, even though there's not much property involved, but the history of the offers in the past for $1 and the reaction of the community, I don't think that's a wise way for us to go, so.
Yes, I have a question for Joel. Is this property on its own buildable? Could somebody buy this property and build a house on it?
Someone could buy this property and build a house on it with it being on the market for the past 300 and so many days. Nobody's approached the city with an offer of any kind.
Yeah, considering it's been listed for quite a while at that price, I think we need to lower the price, but not to $1.
Yeah, my question is gonna be for Ben, like, do you think if like we lowered it to 10,000 that we'd actually get something? My thought is just, I'd like to at least get the assessed value, because that was our intent with all these properties, is to try to bring some money into Allegan for some of the expenses, that's all.
Sure. Obviously, anytime you lower the price, you're gonna increase the attention that the property gets. The challenges that this particular property has had is that it does have a very small lot size. And while, because the city adopted, I believe what you're calling it is the flexible residential zoning, it does open up that possibility for a very small footprint, something like that. The developers and investors who have expressed interest in doing that in the city have all turned their nose up at this particular parcel. I don't know if that's because they don't like that it fronts a county highway on one side, or the fact that it, on the other side, abuts a less attractive-looking building, not to beat you guys up at all about it, but,
There's a few, I mean, it's kind of surrounded by.
yeah. But it has challenges, right? It has been out there on the market for, I think, as Joel said, 348 days. But yeah, obviously, if we were to lower the price, then that increases the likelihood that we're gonna get some more attention. What that would be lowered to is up to you guys. I can offer you my thoughts, but ultimately it is up to you as to how you want that priced. And if we get it sold, great. If not, we'll find ourselves back here with a similar conversation at a later date. But I'm good however you want to proceed.
I'm okay with lowering the price significantly. It's not a very big lot. 25K seemed quite high for that lot to start with and in that neighborhood. So I'm fine with lowering it significantly, even below the 6,000 if possible, and I would put the city staff on to negotiate a fair price and come back to us with a fair price. It's just not $1. You know, yeah, it could be 2, 3, 4, 5,000. It gets it back on the tax rolls. Even also if we wanted to include that they would have to merge it with a neighboring property as something to get a better price on it.
Clean it up.
Yeah, to just clean up the
Yeah.
roll since it's such a small property anyways.
Well, and if we don't roll it into one parcel, you would have to do, unless you disconnected, maybe the water's already disconnected. Is it disconnected?
Oh, it doesn't matter if it's disconnected, it can be served, so I think
I was
under our
gonna say,
water
Yeah,
utility. that
you're
you-
doing
they'll
ready
be
to
paying an
serve
RTS
fee.
if the pipe goes in front of the house.
Yeah.
Just one comment too, that it's actually shut off on our property because it went through our property to get to that property
okay.
originally. So, yes, it is.
Okay,
But what we're saying is you would be paying an RTS if you didn't merge the properties, on both properties.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you'd have to pay that $30 a month.
yeah,
So it'd
Yeah.
be advantageous to just merge
to
them.
merge it. Yes.
So if we're discussing though, like lowering it even below the assessed value, like I guess I would then go to you guys first and be like, are you willing to come in at like 3,000? You know, kind of meet us in the middle and do some negotiations. I think, is that what we're saying? Like if we're willing to lower it to a couple thousand, we would obviously go to the Deweys first, right?
I wasn't thinking going to like 2,000 or 3,000. I was thinking cut the price in half or something like that. I don't.
Well, that's fun. If sales of property have to be done in the public, where purchase of property, we could go to closed session for this, so this is the fun part of selling property as a city. And I'm fine with telling the city staff to go negotiate a price and come back to us with a different price if the Deweys were interested in still a price beyond just $1. I'm just saying, I'm open to a wide variety of prices, it's just not $1. Just like, come back to me with something, and
yeah.
understanding that it's gonna save us $1,000 a year.
$1,000 a year, yes.
And then put it back on the tax rolls, which then brings in additional tax revenue. From my standpoint, it's not a humongous property that's super buildable. It's not like we're selling off like the Girl Scout property for like $1 or some actually large lot. It is a 0.17 acre little tiny lot.
Except it is buildable, and we've been.
Buildable to our current code, but
And we've been telling people like in the neighborhood by the Girl Scout property that we really need more housing. And they're not happy with what they're getting up there. And if we say, yeah, we could build this other one, but we don't care.
I'm just saying, come back and negotiate. I'm saying to direct
Yeah,
Joel and
that
staff to
sounds
go
good.
negotiate, come back with a price, something that I think everybody would feel more comfortable with.
Would council be okay? Because, I mean, we're in no hurry to sell this property. We're at the end of the summer, mowing season's come to quick. Would council be okay if you give us a direction to accept sealed bids on this property? And then give us 30 days, and we'll bring sealed bids to you?
I like that, wow.
And that way you'll just, you still get the decision on the highest and best use, price, all that stuff.
Is the sealed bid then opening it up to other individuals other than the Deweys?
Yeah,
Currently is.
But it's
'cause-
been open to
It's been open
anybody
for
for
300
300
some
and something
dollars.
days.
Yeah.
Still currently is.
I guess where I'm going,
25,000.
I guess where I'm going for council, and again, this is just, the charter allows the city manager to partake in council discussions. You can tell me to be quiet when you feel fit, Mayor. It's been on the market for over 300 days. We haven't had anybody come and say, hey, would the city consider less? We've had people ask us if we consider less on other parcels. It's the way the market works. When people look up buying a house, they see it for 300,000, they ask themselves, will they accept 225 or 275, or, can we, go lower than what the asking price is? This has just been out there.
So if we do the sealed bid thing and the highest bid is like way too low, we can just reject all of it?
You can reject all bids all the time. And just keep in mind, as I said in my report to you, we spend just under $1,000 a year to maintain it, and we receive no taxes. So each year, we don't sell this. It's like taking another $1,000 off that asking price.
So, and I don't think the sealed bid is one of the three things that you said were,
No, because it just popped in my head right now.
okay.
But a sealed bid process for selling property is what we did with 136 Brady in 18 when I first showed up here.
I would be comfortable with city staff negotiating a sale price. But
And-
that's my, and we,
I agree, and that's what I was just gonna say, like, since the Deweys made an offer, I think that we need to negotiate with them, see what they're willing to do, and then bring it back here, and if they say no way, then we'll go to sealed bids.
I
would
agree
be the-
completely, yes.
While you have everyone's attention, is there a number you want to
Sounds
throw
good.
out? Not to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot.
I think we've talked about somewhere between 500 and 1,000, which would be your recouping a year's cost at 1,000.
It's a 1,000-fold increase.
I don't know, I feel we have to start at the value of the property and discount it for an adjacent property. Discount it a certain amount. I don't know what that amount is.
so we're still talking having city staff negotiate a sale price with the
I
Deweys. Yeah?
think so.
Can we get a
Is
motion for
there a
that?
minimum that,
I would think 1,000 is a minimum.
Okay,
That's just
thank you.
me. That's just one.
I'm fine with the city staff negotiating 1,000 kind of being the minimum. And I'd make a motion to that effect, that the city staff negotiate a price with the Deweys and come back for approval with that.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, been moved and supported. Any other comments from council?
No, I'm very thankful that we're going to limit it to them because they were the ones who brought it to us, and I want to keep that with them. So I'm glad we're doing that.
Thanks. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right, agenda item number 10 is the first public comment section of the evening. We don't have our counter tonight, but we do have this red, yellow, green light to help you. If you have a public comment, please approach the podium and state your name and address.
I do, and I'm speaking in official capacity today with the Allegan Food Alliance, and I'm bringing you another problem. And so our address is 221 Trowbridge, Suite B. And
And Mary, could you state your name, though?
I'm so sorry. Mary Coburn, Allegan Food Alliance.
Thank you.
I've got some packets for you.
Thank you.
For time doing that.
So we have an invasive, a serious invasive problem. So we have a serious invasive problem. I don't know if you're aware of it. I wasn't actually aware of it until, I don't know, within the last few months. And I certified as an arborist, and you think I'd know these trees, but this one kind of caught me by surprise because the tree I'm talking about is the tree of heaven, and it's an invasive species. It is the preferred host of the spotted lanternfly, and it is everywhere. And so I have pictures to show you. I got the bulletin from MSU, but I also have pictures to show you of where I've sighted it. In fact, Carl, I saw like 40 little tiny seedlings in your area right in front of your office. The library has like multiple size baby seedlings. As you can see, if you go to this, I've been taking pictures of the mature stands. They're at all the, there's one at the Chinese restaurant, a big stand with the flowers, and it's a pretty aggressive tree. It is like everywhere. Like I walked to the antique fair, and there were like all the houses along there. They just have them. And like I said, it's just everywhere, and I know the Conservation District's doing a lot of work on it. I'm just not sure you're aware of it. I wasn't aware of it, but it's devastating, if we're bringing the lanternfly, it's a devastating pest on fruit, and that matters to this region. So I don't know how you can maybe address it. I just want you to bring your awareness to this pest, this invasive species. Thank you.
Are there others with public comment tonight?
I am Tessa Pierce Thomas. I live at 321 Grant Street. And attempting to negotiate your roundabout, which was dangerous to begin with, it is more dangerous now because somebody planted bushes in the middle of it. Here's a picture of a car going around it. It's in that black circle. This is a picture of the same car, or where it is a few seconds later. I think those bushes need to be removed. They make a blind area out of the whole thing. It's dangerous.
I don't know if you want to pass them down to Joel. Are there other public comments for this evening? All right, if you think of something, we have a second one coming up. All right, we'll move down to agenda item 11A is a presentation by Sarah Edwards from the U.S. Small Business Administration regarding disaster relief for Allegan County.
Yes, hello, my name is Sarah Edwards, and I'm a public affairs specialist with the U.S. Small Business Administration. And I'm going to pass out some flyers just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. I also sent some emails.
Yes, we did get it. Yeah, we got it.
So now you get a physical copy. But
Thank
this
you.
will definitely help you. Listen on. And we're in Michigan letting everybody know about our disaster loan program. I'm specifically in Allegan County. We're here for the community to let all homeowners, business owners, and nonprofits know about the disaster loans that we have available. For homeowners, if you had any damage during April the 10th through the 22nd, we have up to $500,000 of loan available for anybody who had structural damage to their property. As well, if you're just a renter and you needed to put in a claim based on damage to any of your property, up to $100,000 for renters as well. And of course, businesses, Small Business Administration, and nonprofits. I like to lead with homes because people don't know we help homeowners too, not just businesses. But for businesses, up to $1 million worth of damage or loan for any structural damage, and $1 million for any economic injury that you might have received. Like I said, we're currently in Michigan. We have a physical location for anybody to come in and fill out an application if they are interested. That's in Gun Plain Township. However, if you can't reach us there, you can also reach us online. It's www.sba.gov/disaster and fill out an application. 1 year, you have no obligation to repay any sort of loan without any interest at all. The interest rate is pretty low. It's about 2.8%. And we will be here through August, the end of August, and that's when the application deadline is. For economic injury, that's up through January of 2027. So I'm hoping that you guys could share with the community, put on your website. We're getting the word out to the media as well. If you have any questions, like I said, visit our website, www.sba.gov/disaster. Thank you.
Right, moving down to agenda item 13A, you're way ahead, Joel, Oh, sorry, we don't have any board meetings, sorry. Moving down to 13E1 is a request to approve accounts payable and payroll, and Mayor Pro Tem Hance.
Right, it is requested that the city council approve accounts payable in the amount of $912,139.66 and payroll in the amount of $134,154.67 for a total disbursement of $1,046,294.33. Motion to approve.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions from council? No? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11E2 is a discussion regarding the process of appointing a new city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. As stated to you in an email I sent out last week, our current city attorney, Nicholas Curcio, has taken a new job, or will be taking a new job, and is dissolving his law firm. Nick has been with the city for well over a decade, first as an attorney with Dickinson Wright, and then when he went out and hung up his own shingle with the Curcio Law Firm. The city charter is very clear. It is city council that makes the appointment of the city attorney, where your other appointed officers, while you may approve them, they come as recommendations from the city manager. The city manager doesn't really have a role in this. I've asked Nick to give us a list of other city attorneys that work with cities our size, so you can at least have a starting point when you start looking at this. But we have about a 2-month head start, which is good. I need to kind of know from council what role you want the city manager to play here. Some cities go out and do RFPs, requests for proposals. When you do a request for proposal, you ask firms to submit information on their experience, what kind of municipal law have they been involved in, do they, their clients, so you can do reference checks on them, and then what their hourly rate is. I've asked our finance director to already begin going back the past 15 years to detail how much we spend on our municipal attorney. I will let you know that, and Nick will let you know this as well, but when I talked to him, I joked with him, I'm like, I understand you're probably just firing us because we don't spend enough money on you. I think this past fiscal year, we didn't break $12,000 in legal fees. And his response was, well, Joel, you always ask me when you need to ask me, and you're probably one of the most self-sufficient city managers I've ever worked with. There are a lot of cities our size that spend well north of $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, on labor attorneys. Some cities have, and not labor attorneys, but on their municipal attorneys. Some cities have the municipal attorney present at every single meeting, and that's when your costs can really go up. So I don't know if you guys want to go through an RFP or take recommendations from Nick. Just put an ad out there and see who submits stuff. But I need to hear from council how you want to proceed. You will need a municipal attorney within 2 months. That's a very important position.
Mel, did you have?
I like the idea of the RFP with like a deadline, because I think if we just advertise it, we could really quickly approach that 2-month. And then, I guess we would then review them at another meeting, or would it be a closed session, or I don't know how that.
No, it would probably be in the public. My recommendation would be, if you would like, my recommendation is you create a subcommittee of council that would open the RFPs, go through that process with all sealed bids. We say they're due by 12 o'clock noon on this day. They come in, and then you open them all. You do a quick bid sheet of who came in, how they came in, did they submit the right requirements, are they insured, et cetera, stuff like that. And then you review them, and then that subcommittee can make a recommendation to the whole council, and the whole council could see everything.
Okay, and to be clear, if we go the RFP route, we're not asking for any recommendations from Nick? Do I understand that?
No, Nick could still give you recommendation.
Yeah, because I would like,
I would still like them
Yeah,
too,
and then Nick could encourage those people to submit the RFP. Make sure you send a proposal to this
Yeah,
firm.
that's what I would say is, get the recommendations from Nick, set up an RFP, and send notifications to all the recommendations as well as public notices for the RFP to those attorneys that he had made recommendations, so they could all make their proposal. That way, it's the
yes.
best of both worlds. We're getting a proposal,
And
and we're taking some advice from our current council on who we would recommend that kind of fits our bill. And we just, making sure we notify them so that, because otherwise we just put out a RFP and don't actually send out notifications to some firms.
Right.
we were missing
Who knows
out.
who, yeah, we're missing out.
No, I like that too.
Good.
What kind of deadline would be appropriate?
So we're 2 months out right now. My recommendation is that you direct staff to bring a draft RFP for you to review and approve at your first meeting in August, which is August 10th. And then if you're okay with the RFP at the August 10th, you could direct staff to send it out on August 11th. We can give people 2 weeks to fill everything in. It looks like August is another a 5-month Monday. And then you could approve a new attorney at your second meeting or your fourth meeting in September, which is September 28th. Your second meeting in September usually is canceled because of the Allegan County Fair Parade, and you are in the parade, so.
I've always said to reschedule it, but
And
no.
you could always schedule a special meeting, correct,
No, to reschedule it, because we always know every year.
every year,
Canceled, and we never just say, let's just shift it.
no. So that would be my recommendation. I think I can work that fast. I can get you a draft RFP with Nick's assistance by your August 10th meeting. And then you could review and approve it, and we could send it out, and we can have, stuff come in. And you could appoint the subcommittee at that time. I just think a subcommittee works, because then you're not just having the discussion around the DS, because it does have to be done in an open meeting. You can still have the discussion with the other council members around the DS, but you're not all looking at it for the first time up here.
Do you want a motion from us, or you got your direction?
I'd like a motion. I'd like to be told, I'd like your directions to be in writing.
All right,
I'd make a motion for city staff and Joel to create an RFP for seeking out new city attorney, to be ready for our approval at our August 10th meeting,
can you also,
and also to gather up the recommendations from our current city council of who we would recommend for us to send notice of the RFP when we're ready to issue it.
Our current city attorney.
Support.
it's been
Council, yeah.
moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Moving down to 11E3 is an update on the planned improvements to the first floor lounge for the Griswold Auditorium.
Thank you, Mayor. We're going to take a few minutes this evening to talk about the Griswold Auditorium, the improvements that are going to be starting later this week, and get a little direction from City Council. I'm going to start off with apologizing. I was under the impression that we updated council via email at the end of June, when we were made aware of some issues we had with the flooring in the Marilla Lounge, but that email never went out, hence why we moved quick today to amend the agenda, get the report out to you before noon, and bring you up to speed on where we are with this project. So for fiscal year '27, the budget year we're in right now, we established a budget of $275,000 to make improvements to the Griswold Auditorium. Those are improvements to the first floor lounge, improvements to the exterior entrances, so putting a ramp off Hubbard and to the front door, as well as fixing the ramp that goes to the side entrance as well. And then installing a new sign along Hubbard for the Griswold Auditorium. After that budget was established, we shared with you that we have secured $141,011 in outside funding. So that is non-city funding. We have $8,000 in the form of a grant from the Allegan County Community Foundation, $21,900 in the form of a grant from the Michigan Arts and Cultural Council, and $111,111.11 from the Robert Fasky Memorial Trust. I want to give credit to Ryan Berza, who wrote the grant application for the Michigan Arts and Culture Council, and credit to our former CEDM fellow, Mohammed Gabo, who wrote the grant to the Community Foundation. That means that the city was only putting in $133,989 of our own funds. $75,174 of that money is leftover money from the Tuck Point project that occurred on the exterior of the Griswold this past fiscal year, and $58,814 is general fund balance for fiscal year '27, which, when you add those two together, you get the $133,989. So we knew we couldn't start work on that project until after the July 25th Ryan Hurd concert, because we didn't want to run the risk of that first floor lounge being tore up when over 300 people showed up for that concert. Thank you to Mayor Perigo, Councilmember Hooker, and Councilmember Walker, who volunteered for that event. Over 300 people showed up. Rough estimate right now is, after all the expenses are paid, the city made about $1,500 in, profit for that event, which is a good fundraiser in the city's eyes. Not showing on here, and I apologize, is also the $10,000 that the Art of Allegan made earlier this year as well. So why that wasn't on my brain when I was typing this report up feverishly this morning, I don't know. So we're really at $151,000 in outside funding, and $123,000 in city funding is probably what it comes down to then. So even though we couldn't start construction after July 25th, we had Kugler Construction, who on May 11th, City Council approved the contract with them in the amount of $125,000 to do the first floor lounge improvements. We had them in the building multiple times, just doing what we call the investigation portion of their contract. We determined that the wood floor, which was installed probably in the 1960s, has been refinished so many times that it has been sanded down where the tongue grooves are breaking apart now. And those two images show that happening right there. We also went into the lower level, what I'll call a crawl space beneath the Griswold Auditorium. You access it through the men's restroom on the middle floor of the Griswold through a 3-foot by 2-foot door. And that floor was not installed on a subfloor. That floor was installed on furring strips. That's why you have a feel of a bounce when you walk on that wood floor. You can kind of feel it give a little bit. And that's why these are just two pictures of areas where the floor is damaged. There are multiple areas where the floor is damaged and the floorboards are breaking. So when we identified that, we realized, hey, we either need to just leave the floor as is and have a subpar floor, or we need to replace the floor in its entirety, put down a correct subfloor, and then have a brand-new wood floor as part of this project. The other thing we realized as we were doing our investigation is our plan to have 2 ADA restrooms on the first floor, as well as a ticket window, is not possible. The ticket window still has to meet accessibility design guidelines. So we still have to have a 5-foot turning radius in that office space, that ticket window space. There's just not enough area to have 2 restrooms and a ticket window that meets the 5 feet. So in the report that you received today before noon, you saw a diagram that shows how we can modify this area to improve the first floor restroom, still have the ticket window, which is something we have heard from multiple people. They want to make sure we preserve the historical feel of the entrance into the Griswold with that ticket window, and create a little bit of privacy still, because right now that first floor bathroom just opens up right onto the main hallway. So as we experienced this past Saturday for the Ryan Hurd concert, it's not the best foot forward. And so the design that was in your packet, we feel, is a big upgrade over what we have. So with these two costs, we're looking at a total construction budget of $150,370. And I am recommending that City Council set this budget at $160,000 for the first floor improvements. What that will allow us to do is to have a little bit of a contingency. That contingency, I think, works out to be around 6%. So if something else comes up during this process of this first floor project, we don't have to come back to city council. And then if I did my math correctly, and I'm looking at my report, again, we typed this feverishly, we take that 275, we minus the 160 from it, you know, we're around $115,000 we have left for other improvements to make to the Griswold, as we have discussions on what the priority should be moving forward next. But we kind of need to make a decision on this flooring in this new budget, you know, of $160,000 this evening. Any questions for staff? Did you have a chance to look at the report since I
It's
sent it?
not even
today?
approved in the budget, though, Joel. What you're asking for is,
You approved $275,000 in the budget.
Mm-hmm.
You approved a contract with Kugelard Construction at $125.
Okay,
And
that's-
Kugelard, through their investigation, and staff confirms with them, because we were there as part of this
Mm-hmm.
investigation. We had all meetings with them on site. It is $150,000.
so that is the difference of.
That is the difference. We're jumping from 125 to 150. It's some change.
But actually, it's 160, is what you're asking for.
And I'm asking for a budget of 160.
Yep, okay.
But the flooring is $32,000.
Yes. Yep, you saw that in the report I sent you. I sent you that estimate. And then the way with the design build, we will see all the invoices that come in. And so they will go up and go down as we see these invoices come in.
So the 32 is on top of the 160.
No,
It's
nope, it's in there. You can see that on
Line item
page
10.
31 of your new packet,
Line item 10.
line item 10. Thank you, Mayor Pro
30,
Tem.
okay. That's,
So that's in there, yes, it's not, yeah. We've gone from 125 to 150, 370 for this first floor construction.
gotcha.
Now, with them removing the floor and probably the first strips and adding a subfloor under this, is the height going to match our existing terrazzo and our existing entrances, or how are we handling that? That's one question I have, and then the next one will be on the restroom.
So that question there is, I believe they did that calculation by removing those fern strips, that it's gonna match the fern strips and stuff, you know.
I don't want to have a,
We don't want a tripping hazard, we don't want to,
don't
yeah.
want a tripping hazard.
I think right now, we already have a little bit of what I'm gonna call a threshold,
Yeah, there's a threshold there.
yeah. And we can accommodate the threshold.
It's a terrazzo threshold. Then the restroom, looking at it, I'm not quite sure with that inner door. It seems like, one, it's 35 inch, which does meet ADA. ADA is 32, recommend it's 36.
Yep.
I just want to make sure that that inner door also matches at least to a 35 to 36. And I see there's like this little 12-inch stub wall there, and I'm not quite sure why that's there. If they could make that door wider so it's easier to get in and out.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, you know, Mayor Pro Tem Hands, ADA requires a 32-inch opening with the door being open to 90 degrees. So a lot of people go with a 36-inch opening, so they don't have to install a different kind of hinge to make that flush 30, you know, if you have less than a 36 opening, you get a different kind of.
Plus, it just damages the edges when people are trying to put a wheelchair through a narrow opening. So
Yep.
I'd rather not have a narrow opening at all.
Yeah, so that 35-inch
Well,
opening.
the
you see right
35
there-
is on the outside. I think that's existing.
Correct, yeah.
I'm talking the inside one.
Yeah, the inside, I don't see a dimension there, but we can, that's something, that if you a design build, we can make sure that it's done correctly.
There's a 24 here.
That one, what about this one?
That one isn't either.
Does it have-
Right. And
Yeah.
that was the point I was gonna make, is I'd like to make sure of that being ADA accessible.
Yeah.
And also that 32,000 is not just for the floor, it's also for the bathroom change as well, correct?
No,
So the bathroom change is in addition.
Bathroom doesn't
No.
have any flooring. It's terrazzo.
yeah, the bathroom changes some of the trees there that we have to put in.
That's in,
But it's actually a reduction in what the total bathroom cost is, because we're going from 2 bathrooms to 1 bathroom, which also is a reduction in the relocation of the electrical panel, because one of the existing electrical panel was going to be in one of the restrooms, which is against code.
So what you're looking at is where the sink currently is, or the sink in this drawing is, that's where the existing door opening is. That's
Yep.
what that's showing. So it's, going in through where the office is. I just, like, the other thing, I just see it's like out of alignment, like that outside opening's not in line with the bathroom opening. I just want to make sure that that makes sense to go like straight through when I'm just putting straight lines on it. I know this is just a quick sketch. I just don't want to have it where it's like, oh, you got to jog through this little area and slalom.
Understood.
How does this door swing?
This one swings in, this one swings up. which is fine. That swings up.
Oh, so this one's gonna go up that way.
Oh, this one swings right here. It's the door. Door.
But where's the door in the back? So
There
this-
isn't. This is all bathroom right here.
But you've gotta have a door somewhere.
No, it's a single stall. See, this is all one bathroom.
But you know what I'm
this-
saying, though? Like, so somebody's just gonna come right on in?
Well, there's a door.
There's a door right here.
This is the
That's
door.
what I'm saying. This is gonna swing up.
That swings
Yeah.
up, yeah.
Okay, all right.
That's your door opening. I'm just saying,
Yep.
it's kind of like you see the 35 on the outside. I'd like it to kind of line up straight through.
Sure.
So you're not doing a slalom in a wheelchair to get around.
We could talk to them about that.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
try to, because it just makes more sense to me, because if you have somebody in a wheelchair or a power chair, it's easier for a straight path than to deal
Yeah.
with slaloming and then possibly running into our door.
Have they completed their exploratory look?
Yeah, the exploratory is all done.
Because the flooring, based on the pic, have they done any construction yet?
None. Nope, we had to hold off on everything until we got through Friday's or Saturday's event.
Gotcha. Just a little confused as to why it wasn't identified previous to the whole quote as it's visual.
So we went out for, when we did our request for proposals, we had 5 people show up for the pre-bid meeting. City staff told them, as part of our RFP, it was a sand and refinish flooring. Nobody really looked at the flooring or did the investigation. And so when they came in and they brought their flooring guy in saying, give us, for us to resand and finish this. They started fine tuning their numbers as part of the design build. That's when their flooring guy said, you can't sand this anymore. You take off another layer of this wood, as you can see on these pictures here, you're going to start, the tongue groove is already gone on some of these boards. You just can't do it anymore. And then we made the joke, because I was in there, and I'm like, is this why it's bouncy? And they go, well, let's go downstairs. And that's when they went downstairs and looked. Because I made the joke, I know I'm a big guy, but it feels squishy, spongy on some parts of this floor when you walk through there. And for those of you that have volunteered in there, you've experienced that as well. And that's when they went down and they, with the cameras, and like, no, there's furring strips down here. And Ryan Berzer was down there looking at that with them.
And it's not uncommon, that type of flooring back in the day, because it's full dimension,
Yeah.
or they don't need a subfloor. So it's not uncommon, but yeah, the question I only have is, do we want a wood floor, or do we want anything cheaper? Is that the question I have kind of for council, is everybody fine with the increased cost to have a wood floor versus trying to find something cheaper?
My question was gonna be like, are we gonna keep the integrity of the era? Like, so I like the wood floor. And they've done such an amazing job trying to integrate that, so I'm assuming so, but that would be the idea,
Yeah.
right?
And those are good questions. Those are questions that staff had, and by staff, I mean myself, Ryan Berzer, Parker Johnson, with the contractors on, when I first saw this quote, I hopped on homedepot.com. And I said, well, this is how much an engineered floor costs. And, engineered floorings, you really can't, resurface too many times. And I go, why don't we just do luxury vinyl plank? And then, Parker Johnson was the one that spoke up first. He's like, this building's a jewel to this community. Now's not the time to cheap stuff out if we're gonna do this. And I would agree with him. The improvements we're making there really should, be done in a way that, Councilmember Hooker mentioned, uphold the integrity of it. The community has really donated a lot of money for these improvements. We've secured outside funding and grants. I think it can be done right without, being too frivolous with the funding.
So you're looking for a motion to approve a construction budget for the first floor lounge of not to exceed $160,000.
Correct.
I'll make that motion.
All right, thank you.
Support.
Thank you. Any, nothing, okay. I was gonna say, any other discussion or comments from council? You sure? All right, anybody else down this way?
Well, do we have because that's why I wanted to get you to talk about the bathroom, because I knew we had savings there. Do we have an idea of how much we're saving, not adding that second bathroom? And because would that not also impact the amount of money in our budget for said, because I mean, we're asking for 160, which is more of the construction budget from the 125, right? So there, but would that be necessary if we're saving said money on bathroom? Would we need to go that high?
Yeah, I don't have the original estimate in front of me. I just have what I submitted in the report to council, which is the updated estimate that we received. So I don't know that off the top of my head. I'm using what I would consider just my own logic. If I'm seeing plumbing of a new restroom, reworking plumbing is needed. You know, this includes also for the bar, you know, the plumbing right now is at 12,000. So I'm assuming if they had to, you know, do an additional restroom, you know, that's gonna be several $1,000s in just the plumbing, the electric with the new light sockets and stuff. They would have to cut into that 8-inch thick concrete wall, because you have to create another opening in there. There are savings in there. And then if you just take the 32,000 and then we're at 125, you know, you do have your savings in there, because it's not 155,000 or something, or, you know, 157,000.
I just wanted to make it aware, there is gonna be more savings than that, but
Yeah.
whether or not we even need to go to that high. But anyway, that was my input.
Thank you. All right, so there's a motion on the table. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving down to agenda item number 15 is the second public comment period of the evening. If you have a public comment, please approach the podium and state your name and address.
Can you go again?
You can go again, Mary.
So I'm Mary Coburn with the Allegan Food Alliance. I just wonder if we can put into place some educational information for people, just to do an educational campaign around this invasive species, because it's kind of serious, and educate maybe the public works as well, the people that are out there maintaining the gardens. I don't know if any of you were familiar with this tree. I wasn't, you know, and then once you see it, you'll like, oh my God, it's like literally everywhere. So if there just could be some initiative put forward on that. Because we are a very critical fruit-growing region, and, you know, if we bring in the spotted lanternfly, because we have these trees that are available for it, we will devastate our fruit industry. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Just because I'm here. I'm Ben Otis. I don't actually live in the city, but I own a good amount of real estate here. So I just want to take the opportunity to say well done. This past Friday, we had, we'll call it July Jubilee 2.0. And, you know, the city had a rough time on the 3rd, had to cancel some things, even though there are a ton of people in town, and we had a big event, and at the last minute, the fireworks had to be canceled. And everything scrambled, and a couple weeks later, put together a whole other version of that all over again. And it was a heck of a success. I know I've talked to a number of different retailers and business owners in the community that have said that they really appreciated that. It was a nice economic shot in the arm for them with sales. You know, fireworks display was fantastic. So I think the city staff, everybody did a great job. Joel, Parker, Ryan, all the staff that put in so much work, all the DPW staff to have to scramble and get the pontoons in again and set up everything again. Of course, you know, it was probably easy the second time. They didn't have to dust it again. But anyway, good job, well done, good job.
All right, any other public comment tonight? All right, seeing none, we'll move down to agenda item 16, which is communications from the city manager.
Nothing for me this evening.
All right. Agenda item number 17 is roundtable discussion from council and mayor. And Carl, would you mind kicking us off?
Sure. Yeah, I'd like to also agree that fireworks display was amazing, probably the best I've ever seen. And secondly, this that Mary brought up, I think we should hand this off to the DPW and make sure they're aware of all this sort of stuff. All right, thank you.
And Liddy?
Yep, I'm going to echo thank you to the staff. being downtown for all the events, seeing, you know, Parker and Joel and Ryan there from 9 a.m. till well past midnight. I think we take them for granted sometimes. It was a phenomenal show, and I appreciate it. And then I just wanted to ask, I know we had talked about having a special meeting to do the tours and all the facilities. Is that still like August 31st?
Yeah, the 5th Monday in August.
Anything else? Okay. Charles?
Well, first to Mary's point about the Tree of Heaven, which I hate the way it's named because it sounds like it's a good thing, it's not. And being from Houston, Texas, it's very invasive down there, and I agree. And we even have it at the hospital, growing in the flower beds there, and I brought it up to our facilities person, so I already know about it, and I've already addressed it from there at the hospital. Secondly, I know, Joel, there was some discussion previously about the boulders that were donated so lovingly to our city, and how they're, I don't know if they've been placed. So I kind of wanted to get an update on the placement of the boulders that were donated to the city.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Tessa donated the boulders, the money for the purchase of the boulders. They were installed, they're off-centered a little bit from protecting a lane. I talked to Tessa earlier this summer. I asked him to go down there and mark where the boulders should be located. That was done. I told Parker Johnson and Jeff Morey that that was occurring. Then I suppose it rained shortly thereafter. So with Trowbridge Street being closed right now, we have a little bit of grace, but I already communicated with Councilmember Walker this morning and Kyle Gleason, who's our Assistant DPW Director, because our DPW Director is not available right now. And we're gonna, get that on the list of things we have to get adjusted, especially before the Trowbridge Street opens up.
Okay. Thank you. And that is all I have.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm all set.
Thank you.
Also, yeah, thanks also again to the staff for a really good weekend. Joel, any update with the Eagles and the plumbing?
Yeah, I received communication from the Eagles that their board has rejected agreeing to a special assessment. They thought 5% is too high. That was sent in the form of an email before I left for a short vacation last week. We have responded late last week. Staff responded to them and gave them a deadline of August 29th, or I believe it was mid to late August, or we will be terminating their utility service. So right now, it's kind of a ball of yarn ripped up to shreds by a kitty cat.
Did they contract with someone?
I've been told that they signed a contract and made a $15,000 deposit. That's why they only needed a $35,000 special assessment from the city.
And all the pavement is on hold because of that, correct?
And an August 29th date will keep this project at least moving forward to the point where we can finish?
Yeah, so everything will be finished before. I am having conversations, so I wasn't able to make the progress meeting last Thursday because I was out of town. During that progress meeting, I asked them to consider opening Trowbridge Street from Locust to this parking lot. The people that were at that progress meeting more or less decided that was not a good idea. I received communication this morning from the owners of Country House Furniture stating their displeasure. And I'm going to be working on some communication tomorrow with our engineer and Milbacher for them to explain to me why this part can't be open. It is a live construction zone, so there is concern for safety. But at the same time, this part of the project shouldn't be going this slow right here. So I think the city needs to address something here. So that's the work I'm doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Peter?
Well, I want to thank the city staff for their good job on the fireworks and all that they did this weekend. Only other thing is the tree blocks are going in, root block also for these trees, like the rest of the streetscape?
I believe so.
Yep, just double checking that that gets done. Tessa, for the MDOT, is really the ones who control the center of the circle. I do have their contacts here for MDOT in our region, that you could make contact with them as well to put your complaint in to say that those bushes should be removed or cut really low. So I'll get that to you after the meeting, but that was about it.
Thank you. I had nothing else. Everyone has brought up the same things that I had. Is just thank you to staff and for a great weekend all the way around, Friday and Saturday, with the many things. And yeah, I was wondering about the Eagles too, because I did see the clean out is out there, and I thought, well, maybe that was a good sign, but not. So, all right, with that, I did not break Peter's record, but at 7 o'clock, I will adjourn.